All right, so remember when we're doing these problems, we got to find our common denominator, and we're multiplying by the common denominator over 1. So what's our common denominator going to be? X plus 4. I don't like that either. And I don't know why. Sometimes it does it. I'm telling you, this thing has a mind of its own. All right, so I'm multiplying all the tasks by x plus 4. So the first fraction would become 3 times the quantity of x plus 4. The bottom stays the same. Minus 7 times the quantity of x plus 4. That would be over 1. And then that's going to equal negative 4 times the quantity of x plus 4. And that would be over x plus 4. Now, remember, you're looking at each fraction individually, and you should be able to cancel some things out, and we should have no more fractions after this. So, first fraction, we can cancel out the x plus 4s. So we have 3 left out of that fraction. Anything divided by 1 is itself, so I'm going to have negative 7 times the quantity of x plus 4. Be careful. The biggest mistake people are making is when they have subtraction, they are not using parentheses. So make sure you are, anytime you have subtraction, like this is just 7 times that quantity. Okay, if I didn't have that 7 in front, I would still need a negative sign with the parentheses around it. And then for the last fraction, the x plus 4's cancel, and we have a negative 4. So again, that's our good first step. Our fractions are gone. Now we're trying to just get all the x's by itself. So I'd have negative 7x minus 28 equals negative 4. Combine our like terms here. That'd be negative 25. And then we would add 25. And we would get negative 7x equals 21. And when we divide by negative 7, we would get x equals negative 3. Now, since we have x's on the bottom, we need to remember what our restriction would be. So what would our possible restriction be in this case? Well, right, our x cannot be negative 4. And if we look at our answer is not negative 4. Okay, so therefore we have a good solution. And in our solution set, we would have a negative 3. Remember yesterday, at the end, the last example, we saw that our x value answer was the same as our restriction, so then we wrote the null set as no solution for that. Okay. All right, there was a question on 39, so we're going to go over 39, and then if there's any other questions, we can go over questions. So again, as you're thinking about your grade for next quarter, if you are doing the homework, if you are checking in the back of the book, and all of a sudden your back of the book, your answer does not match the back of the book's answer, guess what? Take out an answer key the next day, look at what you see. Maybe you made a silly mistake. If you still aren't sure what you did wrong, ask in class. That's why we have the time to ask. That's why you get the answer key. All right, so if we look at this one, our common denominator is going to be x minus 1. So we're multiplying our entire equation by x minus 1 over 1. So we'd have 1 times the quantity of x minus 1 over x minus 1 plus 5 times x minus 1. That'd be over 1 then. Equals 11 times x minus 1 over x minus 1. So as we go here, our x minus 1's cancel, so we're left with 1 from that first fraction. Anything divided by 1 is itself, so we're left with 5 times the quantity of x minus 1. And then the x minus 1's cancel on the right, we're left with just 11. All right, fractions are gone. That's what we want. We'll distribute. So we get 5x minus 5. Combine our like terms here. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. And then we will get the x by itself by adding 4 and dividing by 5. So we would get x equals 3. We go up and look at what our restriction would be. Our restriction would be x cannot equal positive 1. Our answer is not 1, so we have a good solution at 3. You would think I'd be good at the curly braces, but I'm not. Those solution sets, those are not good. All right, whatever. Any other questions that I have or that you guys have on the homework? All right, then we are going to look at number 50 here, and then you're going to have some time to work just getting last grip of this. Looking at a quiz coming up soon. We're almost done with what we have here. We're going to do some word problems probably on Monday. Probably looking at a quiz like Thursday of next week, because remember, you guys do not have school on Tuesday. It's an in-service day. All right, so go ahead and write down number 50 here. And so looking at this problem, it's similar to what we've been seeing, but what do you think we have to do first? We got to factor it first, yep, because that's going to help us find our common denominator. So we can factor that last fraction's denominator with Sam. So what multiplies a negative 6 as the 1 would be positive 3 and negative 2. All right, so what would our common denominator be then? X plus 3x minus 2. And it really doesn't matter when you do your restrictions. We might as well do our restrictions while we see it. So what can x not be when we get our final answer? Negative 3 and positive 2. All right, so we are going to multiply our entire fraction, the top, by x plus 3 over x minus 2, and we're putting that over 1. And so that's going to give us x times the quantity of x plus 3 times x minus 2 over, remember, the bottoms do not change. We're keeping it as 1. So just x plus 3. On the top, we have 5 times the x plus 3 times x minus 2. Again, the bottom is not changing, so that's still x minus 2. And then our second fraction would have 20, the negative 20, times the x plus 3, x minus 2, and that's over what we had here before, x plus 3 times x minus 2. So again, all we're doing is multiplying all the tops by the x plus 3, x minus 2. All the bottoms are being multiplied by 1. So, with that being said, we can now look to cancel. Everything's separated by multiplication here. So in that first fraction, the x plus 3's cancel. In the second fraction, the x minus 2's are going to cancel. So we're left with negative 5 times quantity of x plus 3. And on the right fraction, the x plus 3's and the x minus 2's are canceling, so we're left with just negative 20. All right, so now it's just getting the x by itself. So we are going to distribute. So 6x minus 12. Distribute the negative 5. So minus 5x minus 15. And that's equal to negative 20. Combining our like terms, 6x minus 5x is just x. Negative 12x minus 15 is negative 27. And then when we add 27, we get x equals positive 7. 7 is not one of our restrictions, so therefore our answer would just be positive 7. All right, so you are working on, everyone got this? All right, you are working right now on page 120, numbers 43 to 49. Some of them you're going to have to factor first. Some of them you will not have to. Make sure you are writing your restriction, because remember, if your restriction matches your answer, then it's no solution or the null set. Okay, so you have about 15 minutes or so to work. I expect you to be working on it.